Hello, and welcome to the Mike Al Show.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Al. Today we have a special guest, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Just lovely. What about you?
We're doing great. Today we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, going over the MVP, going over the MLB Ghost Runner rule in extra innings, Purdue, and then is the NFL scripted? What do you guys think? The Chiefs win the Super Bowl after the Eagles are leading in halftime. The Eagles defense just couldn't do anything. Like, they played terrible the second half. Didn't have a single sack the entire game. And Mahomes throws one incompletion the entire second half. How do you expect to win a football game when you can't even stop the offense? To be fair, neither defense did anything besides when the Chiefs got that one fumble return for a touchdown. That was the only play in the game where the defense of either team did anything. What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, the game was close, and I was really hoping the Eagles won, and I thought the Eagles were going to win too. It just went down to that last holding play. I thought that should have been a holding at the end because during the middle of the game they probably wouldn't have called that, but at the end they did. What do you think about that, Eric?
The Eagles' defense was really bad at the second quarter. I just feel like the game was rigged, though. I feel like Patrick Mahomes should have got drug tested.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, I'm 90% sure he probably got drugged up with some steroids after that once he hurt his ankle. There's no way that man has a high ankle sprain and can still walk out there. Like, that's just crazy. But he was most definitely roided up. But I think you two are freaking stupid. There's no way the game wasn't rigged, and that holding call, that was a holding call. I mean,
what?
they called the guy literally James Bradbury literally said that it was a holding call. So shut it, Mike.
During the middle of a game, the refs would not have called that. There ain't no way that was a holding.
Yeah, it was. And if it wasn't, well, I mean, to be fair, I think the NFL needs to get better refs in the first place. Either that, or they need to they need to hire full-time refs. Like, these refs are only doing stuff during the season and don't get much training. And they need to hire full-time refs that are as good as the people in New York.
Mahomes wins MVP, which doesn't surprise me, but Hurts getting second? No. Joe Burrow did way better than him. I mean, way more pass touchdowns, and Hurts just rushed better.
See, personally, I don't get it because how can you be the MVP, which is the best player in the entire league, and Mahomes is an offensive player, but he doesn't win Offensive Player of the Year award? Tell me how that adds up. Some years they'll give it to the quarterback, and some years they don't, which Justin Jefferson got this year, which he deserves it. But I think the MVP is just stupid because they just give it to quarterbacks. But Hurts getting second, I think that's dumb. And the only reason he got it, if he played like he did the beginning of the season, the whole season, he wins MVP. But he doesn't. And the only reason he gets runner-up is because of the fact that they made it that far into the season and made it to the Super Bowl that he gets second. Which, just because your team doesn't do good, that doesn't mean that you're not the best player in the league. You can still be the best and have the worst team. Next up, we're going to talk about how the MLB implemented the Ghost Runner rule in extra innings. This rule basically says where in extra innings, the team batting automatically gets to put someone at second base to start off the inning to make it more runs given and stuff for that, so you don't go into so many extra innings. What do you think about that, Mike?
Honestly, I never knew about that rule till now. I think that's kind of stupid because why would you put an extra runner at second? I mean, just let them play, and if they go into a lot of innings, they go into a lot of innings.
See, I think it's going to make the game more interesting because once you get into that 12th, 13th, 14th. You don't know if the game's ever going to end. It's just so tight. But, I mean, it makes the team that's better going to win, or it just makes you use up all of your pitchers, which really screws over teams. So I think this is going to end the game a lot quicker once you get into extra innings. So I think it's actually a beneficial rule in the end. Purdue moves down to 3rd, and Alabama moves up to number 1, and Houston stays at 2. Alabama, I mean, they play nobody. Houston plays nobody. But Purdue was just pathetic the second half. They didn't do anything in the second half. They had no offense, and they're just getting absolutely manhandled out there. What do you think about that, Eric?
I think they could have played better. I think they're going through a tough situation right now. They were just getting attacked on the court. The Big Ten is really tough.
Yeah, the Big Ten is a tough tournament to play in, or tough conference to play in, and those teams are always tough. Lots of fouls are going around, and they don't always call everything. And Purdue was really getting attacked out there with their 10 plus turnovers in the second half. There's no way they win that game with how they were playing that second half. No offense, and it was bad. Once it came down to ride or die time, they had Mason Gillis trying to chuck up threes from Stephen Curry range, and there wasn't anything they could do once they got to that point.
NFL is scripted. Honestly, the Revs, they get paid from like the teams. The teams pay them so much money just for them to win, and then the NFL people choose who's gonna win the Super Bowl each year, and it's kind of stupid. What do you think about that, Eric?
I also feel like it's scripted because there's really bad play calls. I definitely agree with you about them paying the refs.
It's the weakest argument I've ever heard for the NFL scripted. Of course the refs are paid. Like, well, you think they work for free?
And shut up.
I do agree that the refs this year have really sucked, and big calls, they've really blown them. I mean, they need to hire some people or get some system of overriding calls, like from New York. Like when Gene Steratore comes on and gives all these calls and gives his analysis of stuff, they need to do that for the actual call, in my opinion. But the NFL would have to pay too much money to people for the NFL to be scripted. Like, just the Super Bowl alone, think about it. They have to pay every single person on the Chiefs, Eagles, all the commentators, the refs, plus all the, like, anybody else there, you know? Anybody included in any organization at all. And that would be just way too much money for them to pay while not making enough money out of it. So there's no way at all the NFL can be scripted. Thank you.